not been saying much. What do you want me to say? You've been censoring everything I've tried to say for weeks, months even. I might as well not even be here. No, you don't need to call... You know I can't afford to do... I can't just sit here and... You know what? I've been sat on this one for a while. Here's a little something for the listeners.
Welcome back to the Oddities Society. And if this ever gets played, I want to extend an apology to our wonderful DJ, Gemini, as this is no doubt not going to end well for them. Today we have two stories for you, one of which is from Marshwood Radio's very own Gemini Truman. But first, we meet Kaeya, who's been ranting and raving for days.
So, do I just, start?
Whenever you like.
Okay. There's a crack in my bedroom door. The light from the moon illuminates the hallway at night, and about a week ago I started seeing shadows through the crack.
Kaeya.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't been sleeping at home. It's been making it so that...
Can you make it a part of the story? I need you to tell me your story.
Right. Yes, of course. It started a little over a week ago. The door to my room is old. Looks older than any other part of the house. It's almost out of place, but the old wood has shrunk and warped to the point where there's a long, thin crack in one of the planks. One night I started seeing shadows flickering past the crack in the door, interrupting the moonlight and blocking it off. And I got in my head that someone was there, looking through the crack, watching me sleep. It was just stupid thoughts, and for a couple of days I just put it out of my mind. But then, one night, there was a creaking, the floorboards in the hallway, the weight changing.
That's quite a face you're pulling. You look almost disgusted. Kaeya. I leapt out of bed and went over to the door.
I needed to rest my mind. I needed to see. I opened the door, comfortable in the half mind I had that it was just in my imagination. And outside the door, dust floated through the moonlight in the hallway, and I was staring out into the dark on the other side. I felt, it's all just in my head. So I turned around and went back into the room, closing the door behind me. I was one step back into the room when I heard the floorboards creak again out in the hall, so I turned straight back around. I saw the dim moonlight through the crack in the door, and it suddenly goes dark. They were back at the door. As soon as I turned around, they were back at the door.
You're doing great. Just keep going.
I got down on my hands and knees, pressing my face to the ground. Once I see that the hallway is empty and no one is there, I'll be able to go back to bed. But in the moonlight, their feet looked gray and cold, like a corpse. I could see part of their ankles, and they were struck with these blue veins, like the circulation was... Why did I think, lying in bed, that there would just be one person out there? If someone were to go to all this effort, why would they do this alone? Outside the door, there were two of them in the hall, bare feet on my carpet. One of them pushed right up against the door. They were watching me every night, watching me out there. I was sure of it. And I noticed the walls. They were a different color to mine, like the sun was shining on them, even though it was the middle of the night. I suddenly felt like I was looking into someone else's home, but it was definitely mine. And these people were just stood there in the hall. I sat in the room for the rest of the night, just staring at the old door. It occurred to me, I've been to the Oddities Society before. Here, I've been on one of your tours. This whole situation fits the exact description of one of your oddities. So I came here the next day. Once the sun was up, I was confident leaving the room. I waited outside this building until it opened, and I told you what had happened.
And normally, that's where one of our stories ends. But there's more to this story, isn't there, Kaeya?
Yes. You came to my house right away. We went upstairs, and right before we entered the room, you stopped me. You told me to look through the crack, just like they did. I pressed my face to it. Inside, it was dark like night, and there was something in there, lying in my bed. Even under the duvet, I could see something wasn't right. After a moment it moves, getting out of the bed. I was frozen, my mind trying to comprehend what was happening. The thing got up from the bed, and I couldn't see clearly. Its arms hang heavy, long, its hands by its knees. It was totally naked, skin wrinkled, stretching tight around certain points on its body, fat unevenly placed. Its head was bald and covered in spots. I couldn't make out any details at this distance, in the dark of what felt like nighttime. It begins to move toward the door, and as it gets closer, I see its face, stretched on like it's not its actual face. Like a mask that's 2 sizes too small. But the face, it looked like my face. This thing had my face on, its bulbous egg of a head. Before I had a chance to react, the creature lifts its arm and reaches for the door handle. I leap back, waiting for the door to open to this thing, but nothing happens. You stood behind me, but you said nothing, just watching it play out. After a moment, I went back. The thing was walking away, but as soon as I was fully up to the door, it stopped moving. It turned and looked at me. It looked at me with my eyes. After a moment, it drops to the ground, shuffling forward towards the door. I moved my head and looked down to see if I could see it looking at me underneath. When I looked back through the crack, it's getting back up and it just stands there, confused. It was copying everything I was doing the night prior.
That's all I need. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ted. I don't know if I want to go through with this.
Don't you want to sleep, Kaeya?
I just... Will it hurt?
Will what hurt?
The process.
Oh, Kaeya. It's already happened.
Oh, God.
Now, we can find out what you really are. Poor Kaeya, who's been sleeping a lot better since this recording. Before we get to our second story for the day, I want to remind everyone to donate to the Gabriel Fund for those affected by the ever more frequent Harpocrates raids. At the moment, we're just trying to get their tracer vans off our streets. But now, we get on to our second story, from our own Gemini Truman, and some new friends who help them find their long-lost brother. You know the drill.
My brother, he went missing when we were very young. It's been so...
The Harpocrates Institute has put a permanent block at the Gemini Truman Show here on Marshwood Radio. This slot will now be replaced by an infomercial segment from Harpocrates themselves. We're sorry for any problems this may cause, but please remember to stick to curfew.
The Harpocrates Network is the perfect solution for your business. It provides unparalleled internet and internet connection. Our Growth AI system helps to seamlessly switch between access points in a natural and human way. Starting at $499.99,